on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is a lot and 1 is a little, how much discomfort is your present relationship situation giving you? And this is the place to be really honest, okay? Don't fuss around it, get to the chase here. It's a women's only, and you're only communicating with me, and I'm not going to be using any names or disclosing anybody's confidential information. So the question again is, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is a lot, where 10 is high, and 1 is a little, how much discomfort is your present relationship situation giving you today? Be honest with yourself about this. If this is something, you're here, you're giving an hour and a half of your time to this topic, so that would indicate to me that this is a really important issue. And it is, in my view, it is a really important issue, because, who we're going to be with on a day-to-day basis, that is, one of the most important decisions that we make in our lives. So it is my view that we are at a point of change, globally, culturally, and individually. Many of the old systems are beginning to fail us: climate, our health systems, our financial systems, and many of the other systems that we have relied on in the past are all in need of an upgrade and a change. And from my experience and the research that I've been doing, the traditional roles of man and woman in dating and relationships are also being called on to change. It seems to me that we're being called to create new systems, new behavior patterns, new paradigms, even new beliefs that can carry us to the new level that we need to evolve to meet the challenges that we are being faced with. Individually, that you have not yet found your man or your woman, your partner, and want that, means that in your life too, you are being asked to raise your level, your vibration, your patterns of behavior to a new level. One of these things, as I see it, is an understanding and learning of the new balance of male and female energy, yin and yang, the masculine and the feminine, within ourselves. And of course, that also needs to be reflected in society and culture as a whole. In an effort to support the feminine, many modern day dating coaches and psychotherapists would tell us that we need to go back to the old models of femininity as women and resurrect some of those patterns of behavior. To me, and very probably a lot of you too, there is some sense in that, but also it's a little bit meaningless, because we are living in a completely different world today from our mothers and our grandmothers, mostly who depended on their men financially. In today's modern world, we are financially independent, and we are happily, mostly, creating our own careers, honoring our creativity in multiple ways that are not necessarily only about having children. In the West, technology and better social care systems have given women a new freedom, and I see no way that we're going to go back to being the traditional feminine, which was so often associated with meekness and often with weakness. But the question is, how do we find our balance? And also for our men, how do they find their balance in the new world that we find ourselves in? In my view, we actually need to create a totally new idea of what it is to be a man and what it is to be a woman. We need to create a totally new kind of man and woman for the new age that we are entering. And so this necessarily means a new balance and a new kind of relationship that is going to be emerging. Wisdom and honorability are the qualities that are very often associated with a mature man. And it is true today, and my experience, and maybe yours as well, that today's men are very often uncomfortable with their masculinity. They've lost a connection with their core wisdom. And that leads to quite often them being viewed as shallow, passionless, and incapable of intimacy. Misogyny is a hatred or contempt for women and a form of sexism used very often to keep women at a lower status. And that's something that, the Me Too movement and a lot of activity has been becoming in the media about how that's been something that we need to change in our society. However, what I see happening today, and this might be a little bit contentious, is that there is also occurring misandry. And misandry is a contempt or prejudice against men. And my experience is that actually is quite common in our societies as well in the West. And I am guilty of it myself. I have sometimes heard, and even now, I sometimes hear myself, talking about men in a way that is objectifying them sexually. So there is an interesting sort of swing going on here. So women are no longer cherished as a source of inspiration and love, and men are no longer respected as leaders, thinkers, providers, and protectors, which has been their kind of traditional role. And it's been my experience that in the absence of men with strong masculine presences, women often become more masculine themselves, lose their connection with their femininity. They engage in, and this has been my experience, verbal and emotional rivalry with men who would be their mates. And then we, and I was one of these, look to, trying to find the one, the mate, a marriage in order to offset that when youthfulness and fertility have passed. Yes, this is, somebody's got some questions here. Let's see if we can have a look at these. Yes, how to overcome this. That is the whole point, exactly, of how to come in. So I feel that it's something that we need to be aware of as we interact with our male counterparts. And particularly in dating, I feel that the balance between yin and yang, male and female, masculine and femininity is a dynamic process of, it's a process of imbalance, regrowth, and then balance again. And this process repeats itself, and it's actually an evolutionary cycle. What I see is a new way of developing between the sexes that takes the spirituality and sacredness of a relationship to a new dimension by recognizing the equal value of masculine and feminine which exists in each of us, and putting it in the context of connection with consciousness. Now,